NCIS Origins has introduced a plot hole in the storyline of Jackson Gibbs before fully addressing his questionable involvement. Jackson, played by Robert Taylor, is one of several familiar NCIS characters to appear in the prequel series. His role involves supporting his son, Leroy Jethro Gibbs Austin Stowell, as he copes with the loss of his wife and daughter. While it was made clear in NCIS that Jackson and Gibbs had a strained relationship, the flagship series also suggested they had minimal or no contact, a claim the prequel seems to contradict. With NCIS spanning over 2 decades, much of Gibbs' backstory has been established. NCIS Origins explores Gibbs' life in the early 1990s, and, while it attempts to honor the established canon, it introduces inconsistencies, particularly with Jackson's presence. Given Jackson's importance to Gibbs, it's understandable that he appears in the prequel. However, the original show suggested the two had no contact during this period. Although Jackson has been a recurring character in NCIS Origins, the flagship series states that Gibbs and Jackson stopped speaking after Shannon and Kelly's funeral. When Jackson first appears in NCIS Season 6, Gibbs reveals that they hadn't talked in 15 years. Their reunion was marked by tension and resentment. In contrast, NCIS Origins shows a different dynamic, depicting Jackson as a concerned father who maintains a strained but ongoing relationship with Gibbs. His care for Gibbs is evident when he invites him to move back home and saves Shannon's mementos from disposal, showing a relationship that is more complex than previously portrayed. The prequel also creates an inconsistency with Mike Franks and Jackson's relationship. Originally, the two were shown meeting in NCIS Season 8 during a storyline involving serial killer Paloma Reynosa. However, in NCIS Origins Episode 3, it is revealed that Franks and Jackson have known each other for a long time. Jackson's visit to Franks, urging him to dismiss Gibbs from the team, illustrates his concern for his son's well-being. Although unsuccessful, it highlighted both Jackson's and Frank's care for Gibbs. The third episode concludes with Jackson leaving after failing to persuade Gibbs to return home. On his way, he retrieves a box of Shannon and Gibbs' keepsakes from the trash. Since Gibbs has the box later in the original series, it can be assumed that Jackson eventually returns it to him. While it's unclear if Jackson will reappear in NCIS Origins, his brief possession of the box suggests he might. Despite discrepancies in their relationship's portrayal, both series acknowledge the underlying struggles between Gibbs and Jackson. The flagship series had established that, by Season 6, their bond was nearly non-existent.